Gotcha, period. Testing, 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 testing. Want to make sure I'm live. Want to make sure I'm live. Testing, testing. Want to make sure I'm live. Hello to anyone who might be watching. My name is Joe Denoto. I am a data scientist, currently doing a lot of financial analysis, working with a lot of Excel, so I'm a little bit rusty with the R programming language, but I want to get some practice with it, and I like to practice in public. I think it's good to show people that you're human and to learn things. So I'm going to be exploring some data that I've never before seen. This is inspired by David Robinson. David Robinson is a data scientist who works a lot with the R programming language and does an excellent series of live streams about Tidy Tuesday. It's a social project by the R programming community where they post data sets and then the users go and analyze them. So I'm going to be looking up the most recent data set, which I have not seen, and seeing what I can do with it in R. Maybe make some graphs, maybe do some statistical analysis. Who knows? Each one's a little bit different. Sometimes we make maps. Um, that's what this is about. So I will be looking at today's data set, 2021. HBCU enrollment. That is historically black colleges and university enrollment. So click here. HBCU Foundation, college enrollment. A lot of information. Here's how we get the data. So copy this line. And then we'll begin the analysis. So if anyone in the chat, as I'm going through this analysis, if you're particularly interested in a feature of the data that you'd like to see graphed, feel free to shout it out in the chat. I do have the chat up and I'll be looking at it as I go through and do this analysis. Otherwise, I'll just kind of be freestyling it and trying to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay, so that's the data itself. And then this is the data dictionary. And this is the cleaning script, which I won't have to do because traditionally the data is already cleaned. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Let's go to R, start a new file, markdown file, HBCU data. Okay, save it. Tidy Tuesday, HBCU. R markdown file. Get rid of all this. Document our code. This is get the data. And even before that, I'm going to load some libraries. Load the tidyverse, ggplot2. Those are always good ones to load. And then let's clear the environment because we don't need that for the time being. Over here. And then let's knit it. Right. One thing we want to do also is set up warning is false, messages false, because it'll always tell you that there's all sorts of weird little exceptions. Okay, now I'm going to actually load the data. Let's do messages false because I don't need all that information about it. Okay, here we go. Here's our data. If I double click it, yep, I'll be able to view it. 32 observations of 12 variables. You've got the years from 1976 all the way to 2015. So one of the things I do when I'm doing these live streams or when I'm first exploring a data set is, I'll grab the data, I now have it, and then I'm just going to look it over, like literally just eyeball the data and get a look at it and see what all the components of the data are, right? What each of the fields mean. And then that'll give me an idea of what kind of graphs and charts I want to make out of it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of inspecting it visually just to get a feel for what's in here. So 76, 80, 82, 84, 4 years, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1 year. Okay, so in the beginning we didn't do every year, but it looks like starting 1990, yeah, starting 1990 they have every single year, and it only goes up to 2015. So nothing past 2015. Total enrollment, male enrollment, female enrollment, 4-year, 2-year, universities, public, okay, 4-year public, 2-year public, private, okay, private data. So let's go back to Chrome just for a second and look at the data dictionary. okay. So when I look at this snippet here, right, I got HBCU all. So I'm down here with this data set. Year, total enrollment, that's what I was looking at. Now, if I plug in hsstudents.csv, this gives me my breakdown of students, race, ethnicity, age 25 and over, who graduated high school. Okay, and then that will give all of this information. So we have more than just this information, right? Interesting. Okay, so we can probably do like some joins and stuff to pull these tables together. Or can we? No male or female data. No, I guess not. Okay. Well, let's just work with this, first of all. It's been a while since I've done this, so let's just work with this. Um, so let's see. Could plot like enrollment over time, right? Really basic stuff. Go back to R. Even better than that would be something like, yeah, there we go. So I just did a little command down here to show me the names of the columns so I can have it referenced, and then I can kind of maximize my work space here. So let's plot enrollment over time. Plotting enrollment over time. I want to probably just do ggplot aesthetic. Total enrollment by year. Geom column, maybe that'll work. Oh, this is a mistake I always, yeah, that should be fixed. Nope. Nope. Completely screwed that up. Year by total enrollment, let's see. That doesn't work because lowercase. So like I said, this is what you're getting. Okay, now we've got something. Now we've got something that we can actually look at. Maybe I'll do it as a line. So there's your enrollment over the years, right? And you can see it steadily increased. 2010 it reached its peak. 2015 it dipped off back to levels of just after the year 2000. So that's some basic stuff that you could do real quick with the data. Probably, like, I might be able to do like a facet wrap or something by, no, I'd have to rearrange the data. So I was saying what I could do is total enrollment male versus female, right? Let's see. To do that, I'd have to put the data in tidy format. Right? And to do that, I'd have to go and look up how to do that because I forget how to do that. This is what computer programming looks like when you haven't done it in a while. So I produced this nice little graph of total enrollment over time. I could do, let's just copy this. Do one for male enrollment over time. So there's male enrollment over time. And then we could do the same thing, but for female enrollment over time. All right. But what I'd really like to do, so we've got the total enrollment over time, right? Peaked in 2010 at about 32,500. You've got male enrollment over time, which kind of mirrors this graph, and then female enrollment over time, which also kind of mirrors it, but not exactly, right? A little bit higher in the mid 1990s, it looks like 16,000, whereas here it was 10,500. So what I want to do is I want to stack the male and the female in the same graph, maybe color code them. In order to do that, I need to reshape the data. So let's have a look at what the data looks like. Right? You've got the year, total enrollment, which is the sum of the male and the females, added up together, I assume. 3, 6, yeah, it is, just mentally checking, right? But what I want to do is I want to have this in what's called tidy format, where every column represents a variable and every row represents an observation. And so here the variable is male or female, right? That's the variable. And I want to have one column for, gender / sex. Forgive me for messing those up. You want to have one column for that, and then you want to have one column next to it for the enrollment number. So you'll have 1976 males, and it'll say 104,000. The next one will be 1976 females, and it'll have this number in it. Then 1980. So that's what I want to do. I want to reshape the data, and it's really not that hard to do. You can do it with a few lines of code. I'm going to have to go and look up the dplyr code. So let me switch to Google. This is part of the game here when I'm doing this kind of work. dplyr cheat sheet, data wrangling cheat sheet. It's a PDF. Oh, you can't see it because it's opening up. Yeah, this is what I want. Learning. I'm looking for dplyr. Here we go. I don't want a PDF. I want the PDF to open in Chrome because I can only show you my Chrome screen. Wow. All right. Duck, duck, go to the rescue. So, okay, here we go. All right. I apologize for that taking so long. And again, if you're in the chat and you're watching this and you have any questions about the data that you'd like to see, let me know. Right now, what I'm trying to do is put male or female in one column and in the other column I want the enrollment in that year, depending on whether it was male or female enrollment. And to do that, I have to use some code here from dplyr to no, man, I'm feeling just really dumb right now. Markdown, no. Shiny, no. No, no, no. Man, how do I even, I just want to like unpivot data in R. It's like gather and spread. No, 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 not that. That's old stuff. Reshape data. No, I don't want to melt and cast. There's better commands than melt and cast. I think I'm just going to have to go back to R and look at another project I did the other day, because I've done this before, but it was weeks ago or months ago. So maybe I did it with plastics. Pivot longer? Okay, maybe I did it with pivot longer. Using dplyr and reader. So let me go back up to my packages, add dplyr and reader, reload my packages. Then let's just have another look at the data. So I want to select year through females, first of all. I think we're getting somewhere now. If you're tuning in and you were watching me mumble to myself, I think we're now getting somewhere. Something might be happening now. So we're going to select, what are we going to select? The columns year through females. Okay, then what are we going to do with it? We're going to pivot longer, and we're going to pivot longer on males and females, right? Okay, so pivot longer, right? Those two columns, then what's next? Names to that, values to tons. Okay, names underscore, values underscore. So names to, really? Names to. Values to. And let's just see if this will do what I want it to do. Ah, there it is. Okay, so if you're watching this, I've done it. I've done what I wanted to do. I've done what I've wanted to do. That makes me happy. Yes, I think I did exactly what I needed to do. Okay. So check it out. The original data set had 32 observations of 12 variables. In other words, it had 32 rows and it had 12 columns. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to stack the graphs from male and female on top of one another. I wanted to put both of these on the same graph so I could compare them easily and then maybe color code them or something nice, right? That's what I wanted to do. But the way the data was given to me, I couldn't do that. I can't just say graph it that way. I have to reshape the data. And here I'm going to call this right? So now I've got this new data set, HBCU all MRF. I got to get better at renaming these things. But this is what I wanted. The year, the total enrollment, male or female, and then the enrollment of males in 1976 is 104,699, 669. The female enrollment in 1976 is 117,944, right? So that's how I've split it up. And there's 64 rows because previously there were 32, and I've just repeated male, female, male, female for every year, doubling the number of rows. So I've done what I've wanted to do. Now the thing is, how do I ggplot this? What are my aesthetics going to be? Year by enrollment, color equals F, right? G online, maybe. Nope, I got an error, and it didn't even tell me what my error was for. Year by enrollment. So I did year and enrollment, and this is just how it goes. I think I found the way, and then I get stuck. It's been a while. It's persnickety. Okay, let's just do this first of all. Well, no, I mean, I don't know if that's going to work. So let's just do this. So aha! Victory. There we go. That's it. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so this is the graph that I had wanted, right? I have male enrollment in blue, female enrollment in red, and you can see they kind of have the same rising and falling pattern. However, there's significantly many more female enrollment consistently from the 1970s all the way up through 2015, which is where this data set goes. This is something interesting. This is something frankly unexpected. I would have expected that male enrollment would be significantly higher in the past and that they would kind of equalize as we go forward into the future. So this is an interesting result. We can add some labels to this. This is, we already have that, so really all I need is title equals yeah, just give it a little title. So that's interesting. That to me is interesting. I really wouldn't have expected that. Significantly more. Significantly greater enrollment. And that shows itself in the individual graphs I created, right? But because the window was so perfectly fit, right? The female enrollment tops off at around 200,000. The male only tops off at, 130,000, 140,000. This is significantly smaller than this, but when you're scrolling back and forth, it's not so obvious. When you put them on the same graph, it is. So this is a small victory here. After all that time, I managed to produce one interesting graph. And if I was working with Microsoft Excel, I would have had this in about 30 seconds. That's not to say that Excel is better than R or R is better than Excel. It's just that I haven't used this in a while. So to anyone watching, um, do you have any questions about the data so far? Anything you'd like to see? We can do the same thing with 4-year and 2-year. We can do the same thing with public and private. I think that's our full data set. Interesting. I'll go and grab the actual demographic information. Let's go do that. So let's do this, and then go back to R, and let's grab the other data set. Okay, so I just grabbed another data set. And this one has data. Interesting. Am I reading this right? Let's just go here and do like this. Huh. Standard errors, standard errors, standard errors. Oh, they're paired, okay. Standard errors. Every other column is standard errors. Mm-hmm. Pretty empty data set in the 1970s. They're calling this column total, but this is the year. This looks like the year. Percent of all persons aged 25 and over. This data set is not as straightforward. As I would think it is. I don't. Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at this. I'm having a hard time making sense of it on the fly. I may leave this alone. Um, the percentages don't add up. This column called total is weird. Let me go back to the data dictionary. The percentage of students broken down by race and ethnicity aged 25 and over who have graduated high school. So total is the year. Huh. Total percentage. Total combined population. Students, black students. So I would expect at an HBCU, historically black colleges and university, that this variable would be the largest by far. But when I go into the data, for the year, I don't know, 2013, right? It's saying that it's 85.9% black, but then it's 92.9% white. I'm really not understanding this data set. I'm sorry. If you're watching this and you know what's going on here with this data set, let me know. I'm going to have to check out David's live stream after this because this is confusing to me. The total population. Percent. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this, so I'm going to leave this alone. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm looking at this and I just can't. I don't understand how you could have 88.7% of your HBCU students in 2001 be white with a standard error of 0.13%, and then a smaller percentage being black. That doesn't, and the percent add up to way more than 100. I'm just not getting. I'm not getting it. Okay, I'm leaving this alone. Let's go back to this data set. I could do the same kind of graph that I did for male and female, like this one. I could do the same sort of graph to track uh, 4-year and 2-year enrollment total, break that down by public, break that down by private. Um, probably, yeah. 4-year and 2-year, public and private. I could probably put those four on the same graph and track them over time. That's going to involve some tricky selection, but I think I can do it. Okay, 4-year public, 2-year public, 4-year private, 2-year private. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try and do that. That's my next goal. So let's track 4 over time. So I'm going to start with the same data set. I'm going to select I'm going to select the year. I'm going to select um, 4-year public. 4-year public. 4-year. Thank goodness for autocomplete. Thank goodness for autocomplete. 2-year public and 2-year private. Okay, so I've selected those. Then I'm going to do pivot longer. And I'm going to do it from oh dear. Okay, so I have to manually copy this now. See, now if I was really smart, I would have renamed these column headers, but I'm not really smart. David, I guarantee you David renamed these because he recognized that these names are a pain and a hassle to deal with because I have to copy paste them and put the little quotes. Okay, name it this. I want the names underscore 2, the names to type, and I want the values to enrollment. Names to, values to. Let's see if this works. If this works on the first try. Oh ho ho! Look at that! It did. And there are 128 rows, and originally there were 32, so 32 times 4 is 128 rows, and then you've got 1976 4-year public. That's the enrollment. 1976 4-year private. That's the enrollment. The reason you have to put this data in this order is because it's called Tidy Tuesday. This is called a tidy data set, and what that means is that every column is a variable, and every row is a singular observation. The variable is year, the variable is the type. These are the 4 types that you can have for your public, for your private, for your public, for to-year public, to-year private. That's a variable. And then the other variable is the enrollment number, how many people were enrolled in that year in that type, right? The other data set like this is not tidy format because this and this, these are one variable. So they should be in one column, but they've split them up into 2, not tidy format. So you have to use something like pivot longer to put it into a tidy format. Okay, now we're going to actually go through and plot them all. So I will call this HBCU all type for simplicity, just to save it as a new variable. Then I'm going to do type. Then ggplot, the aesthetics will be the year and the type. No, year and enrollment, where the color equals the type, right? Year enrollment color is type, and then geom line, and then fingers crossed. Here it is. There it is. So the purple line is 4-year public. The most enrollment is the 4-year public. The next line down is blue, which is 4-year private, right? So people really want those 4-year universities. The next one above that is the 2-year public. And look at the increase in the 2-year public from like 1995 all the way up through 2010, right? Big increase. And then the red line here is the 2-year private. So not a lot of people going for that 2-year private. In fact, it's such a small number, it looks almost flat. I'm sure it's not flat. It's just so small in comparison to these others. So what I'm going to do is, just because I want to zero in on the 2-year private, right? I'm just going to copy this, and then let's zoom in on 2-year private. Right? And this is what I love about R. Like right now I can evangelize a little bit about R. So select no, I'm not going to select. I'm going to filter, sorry. Filter type equals 2-year private, which I'm just going to have to go up here and do this. So I just want to select this and produce the same graph. I don't think I'm going to need the color line. I don't think it's going to break anything. Can I just do that? I don't think I can just do that. No. Oh. You got to use 2 equal signs. Always read those error warnings. Interesting. So maybe I spoke too soon. So this is the data set that I want. I want to just filter out just for this. And I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh. I knew I should have renamed. Now I got to go and look at how to rename columns because this is getting to be irritating. 2-year dash private. I guess what I could do is something like this and select just year and 2-year private. I don't have to do pivot longer because it's unnecessary. Select. Well, let's just see if this works. Okay, there's my enrollment. Okay. This is dirty. This is not how it should be done. Now I can ggplot just to see what this fluctuation looks like over time. Geom line. Oh, look at that. Oof. Just declining almost to zero. Almost nobody wants to go to 2-year private universities. Look at that decline. Straight down. Straight arrow down from about 2,500 all the way down to near zero. Wow. Wow, okay. It looks like it flatlines here, but really it massively declined while the others all went up. Okay, so I think as far as this data set is concerned, we broke it down to male and female. We broke it down into public, private, 4 or 2 years. We plotted those against the time. I'm sure there's lots of other really interesting stuff we could do, like the percentage growth each year or something like that. But I think I'm going to leave it at this because frankly I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache. Not related to any frustration, just my eyes are starting to hurt me. So I hope you've all enjoyed this. I'll post this code on my GitHub. And yeah, I'll post this on my GitHub and you can go and check it out. I'll go and do that now. Commit. So commit. Close. Push it. I'll leave the GitHub link in the description. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day. And yeah, there you can see the enrollment generally increases. Females significantly more than males. That your 4-year public has increased the most. They have the most numbers and they've increased the most in terms of absolute numbers. And your 2-year private has just went all the way down. Just all the way down. All right. Have a good day, everyone.